Welcome to the Period Besties Podcast with Stasha and Katie. Think about it as chatting with your best friends about all the TMI stuff you've never talked about before with two period coaches who've been helping hormones collectively for over 20 years now. I'm Stasha.
And I'm Katie, and we're pulling back the curtain on what it's like in the world of menstrual coaching. From puberty to menopause and everything in between, we're here to show you how period coaching can save the day. We'll share practical tips and information you can put to immediate use to improve your hormones and happiness.
We're removing the mystery, ending the taboo, and shining a light on just how powerful period coaching can be.
So whether you need period coaching or are considering becoming a period coach yourself, these episodes are going to help you. We'll share stories, coach live on air, and bring smart, savvy guests to share their wisdom too. Let's start today's episode.
Wow, what a fascinating conversation. I love speaking with people who do womb work in such different and unique ways and bringing all of these different modalities together. There really is truly something for everyone. And as somebody who has needed a lot of womb work and will probably continue to need it, I love trying new things. I love trying new modalities. And they've all brought something new and fresh and different for me. So having this conversation with somebody who does abdominal massage, as well as all sorts of different womb clearing and working and different things, was just like, what a great reminder that there's a lot of options out there. You can start with what feels good and make differences and changes. And just that whole conversation was so interesting.
It's so interesting and also so beautiful. Just the conversation of just reconnecting to our womb, and as simple as just deep breathing, like that diaphragmatic breath work, right? Like I start all of my client sessions off with deep breathing and trying to educate about the diaphragmatic breath work. So even just that aspect of it, if you just want to dip your toes into some womb support, just learning how to breathe correctly and getting into the belly all the way to these clearings and this ancestral genetic, okay, no, I don't want to take that with me anymore. Let's tap that out. Like just that beautiful connection, but also this isn't actually me. Because I think about that a lot in my own life. Is this how I feel, or is this generational feelings?
Absolutely. When she said that, it hit the nail on the head for me when she was talking about how it just clicked for her. And you can listen into the episode about her experience. But I definitely felt the same way. I am not religious. I have very little spiritual of any sort of name to me other than I live very seasonally. But I had the same feeling, right? Like when I had all that endo pain, I just kept thinking there's absolutely no way that this is normal. I refuse to believe it. There was just this very deep seated thing. And I just kept thinking, I know my ancestors would not have put up with this nonsense. They would have fixed it. I just know it. There was just this deep knowing that was, are there past lives? Is there ancestral connections? I have no idea, but there was something in me that was so sure. And for being like such a scientific, pragmatic person, it was like a real weird feeling where it was like, I don't know, but I'm really sure about this. And then hearing her go through that same kind of journey and process was just like, I don't know. It was just such an interesting thing to hear, especially from somebody who has studied so many modalities and speaks so many languages and obviously a very smart, savvy woman. So I can't wait for everyone to listen to this. I think without further ado, we should let Anna take over the podcast for today.
Hello, besties. Welcome back to our new episode of Period Besties. And we have a special treat for you today. We are speaking with Anna Skordai, and we're going to be talking about the womb. Years ago, Stasha and I did a summit together, the Womb Wellness Summit. And we constantly talk about just this space in our body with power and love and everything that kind of goes along with the womb. And we're just really excited to dive into that and talk to Anna about that a little bit more. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. I'm so excited and interested I checked out your podcast and it was beautiful. I really like what you're talking about. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So to kick it off, I would love you to just share with everybody who you are, what you've been diving into, what you're doing, so that everybody can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. So my name is Anna Skordai, and basically I am working. No, let's start from this way. So basically, I was diagnosed in 2010 with endometriosis, and that just completely changed and turned around my life. I was working in a corporate environment, and I was really like flabbergasted by the whole thing. I did not know anything about endometriosis. I had no idea what this is. How can one do something about it? So I went down the surgical route. And unfortunately, that did not help me at all, actually made things worse for me. And I was really thinking about, okay, how can I help myself in a better way, like a more holistic way, let's say like that, that really resonated with me. So I started to work on myself on 3 levels, like emotional, because I think we women generally are very emotional, like our emotions are very strong for us, and they are our superpower as well, actually. Don't let any man say otherwise, because it's not true. And second of all, I was working also on a physical level, of course, because obviously I had a sickness that I wanted to really heal. And so I was looking into diets. I was looking into different kind of workouts. I was doing a lot of research on so many levels. And then the last level I was working on as well, the energetic level. And some people might think that, okay, energetic, what does that mean? Is like a woo-woo thing, or what's happening here? But actually it's just being in balance in my feminine and masculine energies, because I really felt that even though I'm very feminine from the outside, actually inside I felt very masculine, like goal-oriented. This is where I'm going. This is what's happening. And then actually I'm getting this sickness that is like a feminine sickness, right? Because endometriosis, according to statistics, I think might be like 1 or 2% that might be coming out on men as well, which I learned just recently about that. But generally it's a very feminine sickness, right? So I was like, okay, so my body is trying to tell me something. I need to really balance this whole thing and just see what's happening here. And so I basically, my journey was very long, but I trained as an abdominal massage therapist because that was really helpful for me personally too. There is a part to it, which is self-care massage, which I could do for myself. And I felt like really my pain levels gone down. I really felt much better, much more positive in general as well. And also, of course, I was working with my womb on an energetic level as well as emotional level. And because you mentioned womb before, so basically one of my biggest trainings, I was a part of online mystery school called Fountain of Life. And basically it was all about womb awakening. So I did a 3-year immersion in lots of different things. And it was like a spiral after spiral. And at the end I came out and I was like, oh, just don't say healing to me because I'm going to punch you. So I was very much in this space, but I also helped other women at the same time. So I was working through my own stuff, and I was starting to hold circles for women in London because I was living and working in London. And at the end, so I'm still doing that. So that's like just to shorten down a very long story.
Endometriosis is a long journey. I find that, at least in the States, we women with endometriosis, like myself, figure it out. And then we go to our doctors and go, look, we've been talking to you for 10 years about how painful our periods are. I have endometriosis. Put it in my frickin' file. Help me, instead of the other way around, because a lot of the times the doctors here don't even know what it is or that it exists. And so a lot of American women, myself included, basically had to go into their doctor and just go, look, this is what it is. I have spent 10 years researching. I have figured it out. This is what it is. And now you're going to at least put it on my file so that I feel less crazy. Thank you. Yeah. Have a nice day.
And I'll figure out what to do to help myself.
Yeah, because there's not really much medical, right? There's the surgeries, which can make it worse. I have heard enough women tell me that they went for surgery and it was better, but then when it came back, it had spread. It was worse, or it was worse right out of the gate, or all these different things. And I had figured out how to make it manageable for myself at that point. So when my doctor was like, do you want to go in and have surgery? I was like, no, I can live with this and I don't want it to get worse. I'm in my mid 40s. Let's just write out the last 5 to 10 years of this and then we'll call it a day, hopefully. So, yeah, I feel you. It is a journey, and I think that it's those kinds of things, right? Infertility struggles, PCOS, PMDD, endometriosis, especially those extreme diagnoses are what end up getting us that push into doing this kind of work, because we see that gap where there's no answers, or the answers are expensive, invasive, hard, or the answer is put you on birth control, shut everything down, and then call it a day, which is not good for your short-term or your long-term health, right? Those kinds of things affect your gut health, your depression, anxiety, weight, mental clarity, energy levels, and then long-term bone density, heart health, right? So there's just no good answer. So finding these other ways. I was in my 20s, in the aughts, and reading Chinese medicine and Ayurveda books and trying to find help from someone, because Western medicine was leaving me on my bathroom floor suicidal from the pain. And their only answer was, here's a bottle of pills, good luck. And so we end up going this real long route, at least back in the day, this real long route to get to an answer, which is the reason I started my business, so that no one had to go through that real long route to get to answers anymore. They could just come and sit with me and spend a little bit of time instead of 20 years researching. So it is definitely, I think myself and Katie and probably a lot of our listeners really are like, yeah, I feel you. I have been there and done that.
For everyone that is listening, can you share more about the work, like the womb work, and what that looks like, what that feels like? Walk us through womb work, because I've had it done personally when I was preparing my body for pregnancy, going through fertility, and oh my goodness, like so many things moved in my body after working on my womb. Like it was, I just feel like I equate it to a lightning bolt. Like all these little mini lightning bolts started happening, and I really felt so much more connected to my body than I ever had previously. So I'm so curious, and I want everybody to hear you share about womb work.
Yeah, so basically in general, I think I will start with the fact that I think us women, unless we have challenges, health challenges, we're not really connecting to our womb. We don't connect to her because we are like, okay, I have my period. Maybe I will have babies. Maybe I won't have babies, whatever. That's it kind of thing. But the minute you start to have challenges, is what the Stasha was saying as well, you start to look for answers. And for me, basically, it came in the form of a workshop that I was attending, which was called Womb Wisdom. And it was in London, and there was like a very hot day. I still remember everyone was sweating, and it was like really full of people. But it was something that, as you mentioned, Katie, as well, for me, it was just like lightning bolts, like something changed, something shifted. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, I have done this work before. Like I just had this feeling and knowing inside of me that something like just really deeply resonated with me. And I was like, oh my God, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I've not in this lifetime, even if some people might not believe in previous lifetimes or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, I know this stuff. Like something just really resonated with me. So I really started to look into ways of how can I work more with my womb, because that one workshop was just like such an eye opener for me. And it just really shifted something really deep in me. And I was like, okay, fine. I need to go on this road. Like, I know that this is mine. And so, of course, then I went to study with this lady called Anna Sophia, who actually, together with her husband, wrote a ex-husband book called Womb Wisdom. And it was about how you can connect with your womb and how women can connect and what wisdom we have in there and what is the voice of our womb and what is it saying to us and everything. So I studied with her actually for a year, and then I went on to this whole womb awakening journey. And basically it's a thing where I don't think I say anything new when I say mention to us, but the thing is that, okay, the word in English, womb, I speak 5 languages, and it's in all languages different. But most of the languages, let's say German or Russian, they have some kind of relevance to mother. So if I'm saying the word in Russian, it's matka, which is like small mother, if I translate it word to word. If I say it in German, Gebärmutter, Mutter, the word mother is already in there as well. So it's referring to our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers. I usually on my workshops, I always take out my little Russian doll that like has lots of other little Russian dolls inside. And basically this is what's happening. So we are the big Russian doll, and then comes our mothers, our grandmothers, great grandmothers, and down to 8 generations. 8 generations, we have the energy and we have the DNA and also the emotions and a lot of other stuff that our foremothers have been carrying or experienced in their lifetime. And we might be not even aware of that at all. But then when in our life something just goes, it's weird. Why is this happening to me? Like I wasn't really experiencing this before, or there is something that is repeatedly happening in our life, let's say in relationships or whatever, then we are, okay, there is something going on here. Maybe this is not even mine. I have no idea. Anything can happen. And actually, before the endometriosis, I was already attending some family constellation workshops. I don't know if anyone heard about them, but basically it's a psychological method that was worked out by a German psychologist called Bert Hellinger. And he basically said that the family is a system. And if something goes wrong in the system, then the system will remember it and it will come out later. So what does that mean? Like, how does it look like? So if someone goes to a family constellation, then basically, and especially it's a group work, then they ask you to, okay, what is your problem? You say, I don't know, my whole life I felt really inadequate. I don't know what's going on here, but I just really felt like I'm no one and nothing. And they're like, okay, fine. So this is your issue. You want to work on that. Great, perfect. So how about we set up a representative, choose a representative for yourself and choose a representative for your mother and your father. Usually it starts with the mother and the father, but of course it can be anything. And then it turns out, or can turn out, that down the line, someone had felt that for whatever trauma, whatever life experience they had. And actually, it just passed down the line. And the person there with that issue has the same thing as the great grandmother had. So this is, for me, it was once I started to work with my womb, it was just an obvious thing of, yeah, of course, I probably have my maternal line and paternal line all in me. And it's basically, I am working out the stuff from them and I'm clearing it because I decided as a soul coming to this earth that, okay, I'm going to be the one who is going to do like this amazing clearing work. Thank you very much. So yeah, and working with the womb is a beautiful and also really powerful journey, like really powerful. You reconnect to your real power because us women, we always had our power there. This is where we are creating from nothing, something, right? From a seed, a baby. And we can also create projects. We can create a lot of things from our wombs. And and usually in everyday life, we are disconnected from it because we are so much in our heads all the time. We are all the time thinking about what happened yesterday, what's going to happen today, what I need to do tomorrow, all the list there. And at the end, you're like, okay, but I haven't checked in with my body today yet. I don't know, how is my body doing? How is my womb doing? And she has her own wisdom. She has her own, she's like an oracle for me, really. She is so able to pinpoint things and see things, and it's just amazing. Like, honestly, the things I have seen and experienced, I could write a book about it. Not there yet, but
You should.
well, you should.
Yeah. How do we connect to our womb? Like, how, if somebody's listening and they're like, I don't even know, do I just put my hands on my womb? Like, how do I actually connect?
Yes, so there are different ways of connection. I think it also depends on the person, like how open are we to connect to our wombs, right? Some people are very like, I can connect and I'm able to connect via, for example, a massage. So there's abdominal self-care massage. That is my connection time. I'm doing actually a massage for myself and I'm connecting to my womb through that massage. And some people are like, okay, I just put my hands on my womb and I'm just breathing deeply and breathing into the body, into the belly as such. And I'm just breathing to her and then just see if that brings up a connection. I usually on my workshops always do like a visualization type of thing. So it's connected with the breath. So we're breathing into the belly, which is a different type of breathing than the normal type of breathing, because we're breathing into our chest usually. But the breathing into the belly is like the belly goes big on the breath in and smaller on the breath out. And for that, already you are like starting to connect. Okay, I'm not here up in my chest area, but I'm down here. So bringing the awareness into that area. And then through meditation, yes. So it's mostly like a guided meditation generally. And we would go just down into the very core of her. But first, before doing any of that, it's just important to even say hi to the womb. Like, we might have never said hi to her. We might have never had any communication with her. So I'm always like, just say hi, hello, I'm here. And right now I am actually open and I would love to connect. And sometimes the wombs are a bit like, nah, not into it right now. But sometimes most of the time, they're finally, hello, where have you been? What's going on? Let's connect. So
I love that.
yeah, it's very different for everyone.
Yeah, I had a period coaching school student who did womb naming meditations. So one of the first things that she did as a period coach for her business was create this womb naming meditation where she would guide you through the visualization to get in there, make friends, find out what name you're going to use to have these conversations in the future. It was such a great process because that naming process, you spend time, whether you came out with necessarily a name or not, but you definitely had these kind of conversations internally that was just such an interesting process. When Katie was going through her fertility stuff and getting massage, she was seeing somebody who was actually like physically hands-on doing massage for her. Are you doing that with like private clients? I know you're doing workshops, but are you doing that with private clients?
Yes, yeah, I am. I'm trained in the abdominal massage as such, which is working not just on the frontal part of the abdomen, but also on the back of the body as well, like the lower back. Mm-hmm. And it's really about rebalancing our body and rebalancing, because the thing is that our wombs physically, they are wandering wombs. So what does that mean? That basically it can go to the right or the left or the back or something like that. Now, usually if you are getting like an ultrasound, they are not really telling you that, hey, your uterus is tilting to the right or to the left or whatever. But it can during, let's say, menstruation, because the womb gets bigger, right? During the menstruation, it can push down on certain things that might make having a period more painful, right? So the point of this massage is to bring it back to, without invasive, obviously, movements, but bringing it back to balance, bringing it back to the middle where it's supposed to be. And yes, I am doing private sessions for people for the massage. And also I'm teaching the self-care part, because I really feel that all women, regardless of age, regardless if they still have periods or not, they should know how to do this massage. If I would have started at the age of 12 when I got my first period with this massage, most probably I wouldn't have had endometriosis. I don't know, but just saying that, I think something would have definitely helped.
Yeah. So for the sake of our listeners who may have never heard of this before and may be thinking, oh, I have no idea what to expect, it's scary, I'm not going to do it, would you walk us through what a basic session would look like so that they can walk into a session knowing people are different, but knowing that it's not as scary as it might sound?
Okay. I never heard that people would think that I'm scary, but okay, fine. Thank you. I'll take that. It's okay.
Anything unknown, right? Anything that's new,
Well, that's
different, unknown is just a bit intimidating.
Especially if you're disconnected, right? Like, we are so into this work, and I am open to trying so many new things, but a lot of my friends are the complete opposite of that. Because we talk a lot about like pelvic, I know this is not the same, but we talk a lot about like pelvic floor PT. And I always suggest that with my clients, and some of their very like nervous and scared. No, it's like a beautiful way to just reconnect like your pelvic floor to your breath work, like all of that. So I think like the more that people that are not maybe into this work and trying all the new things like we like to do can just walk in and be like, okay, like this is like a massage, but for my womb, not necessarily my neck and shoulders, which is how we kind of correlate massage, at least here in the States. It might be very different in Europe too. I feel like people tend to be a little bit more open to things in Europe.
I don't know about that, because I had, for example, when I was doing the womb awakening work, it was online, and there was a lot of people from the US actually.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, somehow, maybe I got this thing, oh yeah, that people are open there as well. I don't know. But yeah, the thing is, obviously, everyone is different, as you mentioned that, Stasha. And the thing is that there's no one size fits it all. But let's say someone says, oh, this massage sounds interesting to me. What is this whole thing about? Then I would just, obviously invite them we would have a half an hour call maybe beforehand, just like it's completely free, just like checking in. Am I the right person for you at all or not? Would you feel comfortable having a massage with me or work with me in general or not? And also, of course, because I'm working online too, even though that's less the massage, more the womb work as such. But I would obviously get the idea of like where the person is, how open or not open, or what is the things that they are, okay, I'm ready to try this. And what is the thing that they're like, absolutely not, don't even go there. What I did find that obviously with the massage, most of the people are actually open for that, because they're like, it's a physical thing. It's something that will help my body generally, like getting more oxygen into this pelvic area, which is generally, obviously, we're sitting a lot. So it doesn't get enough oxygen, doesn't get enough blood flow. So this massage really helps to bring that in, and just obviously through that help the organs, all of the organs that are here, not just the womb, not just the ovaries, but everything that's in here. And generally through that, I obviously, like, they need to fill out like a health intake form. So which is quite lengthy and quite big, but I need to know quite a lot of different things, because I need to get like a general idea on their health, like obviously a little bit about their diet, a little bit about their exercise, a little bit about, are they taking any medication? Are they doing anything like that? So I need to see what's happening in general and what their goals and aims are. Like, where do they want to go from here? What is the reason that they felt like, okay, maybe I would like to try this? Okay. And so sometimes people come to me without any challenges, no PCOS, no nothing like that. Maybe they have a painful period. That's another thing I'm doing a lot of teaching about, not teaching, but awareness that painful periods are not the norm. They should be not the norm, but everyone is accepting them as the norm, and they shouldn't be, because generally they should be not painful. So that's another thing I'm doing a lot of awareness on, of get people like, hey, hello, it's not normal. So yes, so if they have, let's say, come to me with the problem of painful periods, or if they come to me with the problem of endometriosis, or are they coming to me just because they are curious, or just because they want to connect to their femininity a bit more, because they feel like it's not really, they're not so connected, or they haven't even thought about connecting to it before, but actually they heard it from somewhere, or maybe attended one of my workshops online or in person, and they're like, oh, actually, this could be interesting for me. And so then we just do, at the first session, it's quite a lengthy first session, actually, about 2 hours or so. I would ask them, okay, we would go through this intake form, and then we would really say, okay, so what is your goal? Where do you want to be in 6 months and 12 months? And then, of course, they tell me, and then we start to work with the massage. And also I bring in usually at least a little bit of a visualization of connecting to the womb as well, because I feel like obviously just receiving a massage is great. You can go to a lot of different people who are giving you a massage, but my specialty is that you are actually connecting to your womb. And I'm actually feeling the women's womb as well. There is very interesting, the array of how they communicate and what kind of energies, they're so different. Like, as many women I've seen, they have all different. Some wombs are jumping up like, yay, finally. Some wombs are like, sure about this right now. I'm just going to sit this one out and see what happens. And then I make my judgment on this type of thing. So yeah, I get a lot of different varied ranges of stuff. And then of course I invite my clients to connect. And if they have something specific going on in their life, let's say fertility challenges, or some kind of, I don't know, or exactly endometriosis or whatever, or painful periods. And let's say from their intake form, I already pick up that, for example, their mom had the same, or their grandmother had the same, or the aunt has the same. Then I'm obviously seeing that something is going on here that is like on a genetic level might be a challenge. So I also, if the person is open to that, I also ask them if they would be open to work on this energetically as well. And here I'm bringing in, not always, but sometimes I'm bringing in theta healing, which is a different modality altogether, but it's basically about helping in this theta brainwave state, which is, we have the alpha brainwave state, we have the different brainwave states. And this is not a super deep one. It's like a nice meditation brainwave state. And I would invite them to come into there, and we would just work on checking which levels, where is this whole pattern coming from of painful periods, for example, right? So is this something that is picked up from the genetics? Is this historical? So previous lifetime? Is this something that is base level? So basically within the first 8 years, there was something that happened as trauma or something like that actually put a stamp on this, especially for girls. And let's say the dad did not want a girl, he wanted a boy, for example. I'm just saying something, right? So there can be different dynamics, different things that can happen. And on the soul level as well. So we're checking, and we're also shifting some patterns, because the thing is that we're so connected to our patterns, and most of the time they are really running our show, of course, subconsciously, right? We're not conscious of them. But if the same thing keeps happening in our lives and nothing changes it, then maybe it's time to look at it from a subconscious level and kind of say, okay, what's the thing that is happening here? Why is this running in me? Why am I not able to create a nice relationship? Why am I always going for the bad guys? Just saying a few things here. It can be a lot of different things for sure. And so, yes, this is another technique that I would include if someone is open for it, and if someone is okay, I really would love to change. Because for me, basically my method is like connecting all these three levels: the physical, the emotional, and the energetics. And this is where I feel like for me it brought the biggest changes personally. And also I've seen time and time again from my clients, they couldn't get pregnant, then they got pregnant after working with me, and things like that. So it's happening.
I love it. I feel like you probably, because their eyes are closed, they're relaxed, like you can probably physically see the transformation head all the way down to the toes.
Exactly.
That must be so cool.
Is beautiful. Some of the things that I see is really gorgeous. There is some things that are like, okay, let's just get rid of this stuff here because we don't need that really. It's not helpful. But most of the time it can be really beautiful, and the transformation and the change that's happening. Yes, it's very different for sure.
Amazing. What a beautiful journey. So you're doing all this for your clients. Is there anything that you do to prepare yourself before sessions?
Before private sessions, I'm just obviously going into the state of I'm here to help and serve to whoever is here, that they receive the highest healing possible for them at this point of time, whatever that is for them, and however that might look like. So that's and obviously I'm preparing the room, I'm making sure that it's all nice and there is like incense and everything. So it's a really nice area to come in as well and just relax and just really have that beautiful treatment, and also maybe the theta healing. So whatever that I'm doing there, it's obviously like in a nice space. And online or in workshops, I always make sure that I always prepare beforehand. Like I have my notes, because we are feminine, masculine. We both have both energies. The masculine wants to have the running order, the things, the points and everything, the structure is there. And then you can lean on that, right? So I'm bringing out my masculine and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what's happening. This is the music. This is the whatever. And then, of course, after that, it's just free flow anyway, because then that's when the feminine energy comes in, especially in the sessions, in the workshops, that, okay, all right, now let's just see where things are going to take us within that time frame or work frame or something that I'm doing.
Amazing. I love it. Which actually brings me to a similar question, but just personally, what are your self-care non-negotiables from day to day?
Okay, so my non-negotiables are, first of all, just to have at least 5 minutes in the morning after I got up, got my little warm water. It's not cold water, it's warm water. Sometimes with lemon, but most of the time without lemon. And just to kickstart, obviously, the digestion and everything, to just go into my little room and just do a bit of shaking so I can really just let go of the night, of the actual sleep and everything. So resetting my nervous system. I'm doing some somatic exercises that really help me to just get back into, okay, this is like the day, let's wake up type of thing. And so that is like the absolute minimum I do. But then, of course, I love to add like at least extra. That might not happen on the workday in the morning, but generally I would love in the afternoon, because I'm working part-time, but also doing this work as well. So I really need at least like half an hour for myself, and then it's movement. So most of the time dance, and the self-care routine that I'm doing, especially now I'm having a lot of like cramps and stuff like that. So that's really helpful for me to just calm them down and just reconnect. So yeah, these are the minimum non-negotiables. Yes.
I love the shaking out in the morning. I feel like that makes so much sense. I'm going to try it. I feel like just like waking up, my kids have been sleeping in the bed with me and I'm like crunched. I'm like, that could feel, I do lots of stretching, but I like the dancing, shaking it out. Like that energy, especially them like touching me all night, like getting like my own energy back.
It really helps. Yeah. And also after, for example, if I have been working on the day, like I come back home and I'm doing the same thing, like I'm doing the shaking because I need to reset my nervous system. Like really, okay, this is a different thing now I'm doing. And I really need to be in that energy rather than in the energy of what I was doing before. Actually, the best would be also doing before going to bed. But to be honest, I'm like most of the time just comes to my mind when I'm already in bed and, oh no, I can't get up.
Like, I'll just wiggle my fingers.
Yeah, I did that sometimes too.
I love that.
So this is something that I didn't talk about, but actually it's very useful and very helpful for us to do it as women because we are holding on to, our wombs are like sponges. So they take on the energy of everyone around us. Our partner's energy is in our womb for 7 years. And we need to really clean that out from time to time. So we are doing now, or I'm doing now, like every season, a energetic womb clearing and blessing. And I think that is a great way to even check in. Okay, is this something that I would be interested in? Is this something that is my thing? Or am I like, no, that's not really my thing. So I think this is already like a step forward into this direction. And of course, there's so much out there that works, or so many women that work with the womb, like really on different levels. Some people are working shamanically, other people are working in other ways. So it's a very varied thing. And I'm sure if someone just Googles womb work, a lot of different things will come up. But I feel like, yes, starting with some womb clearings, and they are not just for spring. The big one is the spring one, because we all know we need a spring clearing from time to time. But actually doing it seasonally, it's very helpful as well. And it's very different energy as well. What are we letting go? What are we ready to release? Each time is something different, something deeper. Yeah, I would say start with some womb clearings.
I think that's such
You have to let us know when you're doing it.
Yeah. No,
We just say the same thing.
such a good suggestion. I like it a lot. And with the wheel of the year, the solstices, the equinox, the different, however you look at it. But yeah, definitely find that those, I guess, cardinal points on the wheel of the year are really, I want to clean my house, right? I just, for whatever reason, it gets to be around in bulk. And I'm like, it's time to clean my house. I'm like, it's a summer solstice. I need to do some sweeping. Like, we think about it externally, but we don't think about it as internally as we absolutely should. And it is a good time of balancing as well. It was a nickname for endometriosis is the masculine disease. For whatever reason, it seems that a lot of women who end up with endometriosis are also very much type A, go get 'em personalities. I was a professional dancer for 20 years, right? Very driven, hard. There's no days off. There's no time off, but very feminine on the outside, right? We're ballet and all those different modalities and things. So it definitely bringing some balance into that, especially in a world that rewards you for the masculine and punishes you for the feminine. Bringing more of that balance in, doing some clearing out that space. That's such a great idea. I like that a lot. And actually, it makes me think of the future. So we've talked to a few people on the podcast over the years about what they think the future of period coaching, menstrual support, these kinds of modalities is. And I'd love to hear from you what you think maybe the future of this profession is, or what it looks like.
I think it's more and more, like now it's more and more accepted. And I think more and more women are open to this. Obviously, not just our age, but like the younger generation. For them, it's actually more natural or normal actually to talk about their periods, having the app, doing something for themselves or something. And actually what I realized that there is definitely, like with the younger generation, there is definitely this much more living for living and not living for working, you know what I mean? So basically it's less and less, from some perspective, it's a bit challenging, right? Because hiring new talent, for example, for companies or anyone that wants to work, it's a bit challenging because there is this real mentality that is very interesting, that for me, I had to learn it. Like I had to actually get a physical sickness in order to say no to work demands. And I think our generation is very much that, and the older generation is very much that. Okay, I'm working till I'm dropping dead type of thing. Yeah. The younger generation doesn't have that scruples at all. Like they're like 5 o'clock, goodbye, I'm standing up and I'm going and having fun with my friends or whatever I'm doing. So from one side, it's great. And some other side, obviously, it's a bit of a challenge too. But at the same time, I feel like the future is really about, I think more and more women are realizing that, first of all, leading and having a business, for example, as well, is not a masculine thing anymore. I can do it with my feminine energy, and actually it might be looking much healthier and better than the masculine way. Or the old way, let's say like that. And plus, there is this whole question of like just reconnecting and balancing both of our energies, because it's not necessarily bad to have the masculine energy in ourselves. We need it, we want it. So having a nice balanced way of working with both energies, as I think is super important. And actually, this is where our work is so important. But we also need to remember, and I'm also telling this about myself, because I'm like very much going from one side to another side. So I'm quite like balancing myself is a bit challenging for me, because I was, as I mentioned as well, super masculine inside and going in my little corporate world jobs and all that stuff. And then bang, this thing came and I was like, okay, let's just start to work with my femininity. And I was in that work for a very long time, or I'm still am type of thing. But also there is this whole question of, okay, great, but I forgot about my masculine now. Like I've been working so much on my feminine that I forgot my masculine. So I'm just getting, after X years, to that point of like personally as well, to, okay, let's just really balance the two, not just talk about it, but really balance it. But yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. The pendulum swings, right? And we were so far into the patriarchal culture. I did the same thing, right? I quit dancing and I was just working. And then I started my own business and I was like, oh, I am not doing any schedules. I'm so done with schedules and plans and rules. And then you can't build a business like that, right? So the pendulum had to come back towards the center and find its happy medium down there, where it was like, oh yeah, build the scaffolding so that you can have freedom. And that's, ultimately how it goes. And ultimately the reason I ended up writing the business book was because it was like, we can do this with our cycles. We can use this as an asset in our business instead of following all the business books for men that are based on a 24-hour androgen cycle. Let's have a business book for women that's based on a menstrual cycle, so that you can actually embrace your feminine, matriarchal, quote unquote, qualities in business, as well as the structure and helpfulness of that patriarchal masculine thing. So I think it's all very fascinating. Where in the world can people find you if they want to find out more about you?
Yeah, so right now I'm living in Italy. I moved here in 2018 due to my husband, who is Italian. Would have never thought that, to be honest. But after 13 years of working in London and basically doing most of my work there in person, so now I'm basically living in Italy and I'm organizing some retreats into this beautiful area of Italy, which is the Dolomites, South Tyrol. It's gorgeous mountains. And yes, so it's beautiful here for sure. And I'm of course doing stuff online too. So it's not just the in-person thing. So for example, when I was mentioning about the energy clearing of the womb, I'm doing that all online actually. So it's easier to find me, let's say, even if you are in a completely different time zone and completely different place.
So we'll put the links in the show notes if anyone wants to find you on the internet or find out more about in-person things. We'll put all the links in the show notes.
We're going to knock on your door in Italy.
Yeah, for real.
Please do.
Italy's on my honeymoon list, just saying.
Oh, nice. Okay. There is obviously Italy is beautiful and there is so much to do and so many things to eat. So prepare yourself for lots of eating. It's not going to be, sorry, Katie, it's not going to be like the hormonal thing that one needs to eat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's not the plan.
Anytime I've ever been to Italy, I can eat whatever I want and I feel totally fine.
Same.
good.
Same with most of Europe, honestly.
Yeah.
The food's just fresh and yeah, it's great. And we have to live a little too. So I'm having gelato.
Oh yeah, definitely. You need to have gelato. Without gelato, you're not going anywhere for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely suggest you the best gelato places around here, like obviously, because not in every city is the greatest gelato. I didn't know that, but actually it's true. So I was totally shocked because I was expecting that if I go in any city in Italy, the gelato is great. It's not like that. Yeah.
Good to know.
You need to know the inside info.
Shall we do the lightning round?
Yeah. So this is a fun way for everyone to get to know you a little bit more. Inside info, actually. So go with your gut, whatever first comes to mind, share, but we're going to have a few fun questions for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Excited. Yes.
What is the number one self-care thing that you do when you feel stressed?
The self-care massage.
Excellent. What's your favorite book?
Ooh, this is hard. Can I talk about my favorite writer though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she wrote a lot of different books and her name is basically she has lots of pseudonyms, but there is like Jane Ann Kurtz, I think that's the way, American. And she has different genres, but it's mostly romantic stuff. So I'm a sucker for romance books. Sorry.
Me too.
I know we're going to be Googling this and as soon as we're done, Katie and I are both going to be like, all right.
And her, especially if you like in the past stuff, then she writes under the name of Amanda Quick, which is probably easier to remember, Amanda Quick. And then basically she writes also in the future. So she's like time traveling. I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. What's the one thing you just cannot live without?
I almost wanted to say my cat, but it's the weirdest thing because she's actually not even my cat. I adopted her and she adopted me when I moved here to my husband. But yeah, that was the first thing. My cat. There you go.
Yeah,
I get it.
I
from the cat in the house. It doesn't feel like a home without a cat in it to me. So I get it. What's your favorite snack?
With some kind of cashew nut cream or like butter or peanut butter or some kind of nut butter, basically. I love that. Mm-hmm. And it's healthy too. So.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate. Totally. I'm a sucker for chocolate.
Same.
Cacao, anything that is basically, chocolate and cacao related. And yeah, of course, gelato, like the dark chocolate gelato here is just to die for. It's like another level. But I realized that actually the pistachio, don't know how you say it, but that one, gelato wise, as well. Yeah. Seriously good.
It's one of my favorites right there. If you could live anywhere in the world, price, money doesn't exist, just anywhere in the world, where would you choose?
You know what? It's interesting. I have no idea because I would definitely love to travel. I would love to just see the whole world and then decide where to live.
I like it.
Because I'm like, the first thing was coming up for me like Bali. But do I actually like Bali? I've never been. I don't know. Would I be able to manage it? I have no idea. So I'm like, let's just go to a world tour and then I'll decide.
Like it.
Works for me. Do you have a favorite season?
Yeah, spring is beautiful. I am a May baby. So actually that's like for me and unfortunately, I think with climate change, there is less and less real spring. And it's either we go from winter to suddenly summer, or there's like this super wet something happening. And yeah, I miss a really nice, good spring, like I used to have when I was a child. Yeah.
I completely agree. When we moved up here on top of this mountain, we had spring, and I didn't realize how much I had missed spring and autumn until we were here and we had an actual couple of months of spring, an actual couple of months of autumn. And I just went, oh, I forgot what this was like. So agree with you on that. Most loved and most hated food.
Most loved is basically a Russian, I call it Russian tortellini, because tortellini, like the Italian, the little pasta that has meat inside, is more known. It's something like that, but a little bit bigger version. And I grew up on that and I love it. I'm just my favorite food. Anyone can. The only thing, don't ever put vinegar on it, because that I hate. But otherwise, I would just eat it like nonstop. Most hated, probably the same thing with the vinegar. No.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? That one is a hard one. I'm not sure, actually. I love there are some classics that are like, they're always there for me, but I don't have a favorite movie. Is that weird?
No.
Okay.
Kind of like books. It can be, some people just are like, I like this genre, but
Yeah,
exactly. Same.
Do you have a hobby that's maybe not something people know about, or like a little something about your life that's not public? Your close friends will come over and be like, hey, I see you're working on this little hobby of yours.
Hobby. Generally, my femininity work is my hobby as well in some ways. But I do love decorating Christmas, Easter, whatever. I just love the whole house being that decorated and everything. It's just my thing, and it really calms me down as well. Like, I just love doing it. And especially, of course, for Christmas, I'm going overboard, but Easter is good too. I can do it too. And I don't do the Halloween too much because it's not a big thing here. In the UK, yes, but here, no, not much. So yeah, Halloween is not as much, but I like to do at least something like nominal.
Yeah, that's fun. Best concert you've ever been to?
Concert. Oh, Ennio Morricone. He's obviously like this amazing. He came to Budapest once. I'm half Hungarian, half Russian, and I was still living in Budapest with my parents, and I went to this amazing thing where he was, obviously there was like this whole orchestra and they were playing his music from the spaghetti westerns and everything, and I had never had this experience in my life. My whole body was full of goosebumps. I was just like, it was just something out of this world. It was amazing. But yeah, that one.
That sounds so cool. All right, last question. What's your ideal weekend?
Ideal weekend. The ideal weekend is actually go to the mountains, go on a nice hike. If it's beautiful weather, and usually there is beautiful weather here, just walking around, and then just some point just lie down in the middle of the grass and just enjoy the sun on my face. And that is just like an amazing thing. And I could do it. Well, in the winter version of that would be basically a nice hike, then go to the sauna, and then just pass out.
Great.
Yeah, you pass out after a sauna, especially the one that they're doing here. I don't think this is a thing in the US, because even here, it's not many places that they do, like in Europe. But it's called Aufguss. And basically what's happening is that you have a person or two who are going around with a towel, and basically they are bringing up the hot air even more in the sauna. Like, you're in a Finnish sauna, and basically they put like some ice on it that has like a different lavender or whatever aroma to it. And then they just go around and just bring this hot air even more. So you're sweating even more. And it's like maximum 15 minutes. But it can be so fun because, especially here, they are doing championships on this. Like, how you're can do with a towel. Honestly, it's an art form. It's not just like you're going with a towel and just do a bit of wrapping and whatever. No, it's an actual sports thing here. And yeah, it's amazing, especially when they're like doing some different movements and like almost dancing and everything. And you are sweating your everything off, obviously, at the same time. But it's just a really beautiful thing to actually watch as well and experience it. And yes, it's helpful for you and good, of course, as well, health-wise. So yeah, definitely recommend to try that one once, because it's something special.
Oh, that's so interesting. Oh my goodness. I have loved chatting with you today. I feel like all three of us just really connected. I loved it. Thank you so much for joining us. We definitely need to have you back on. Please share with us when you're having these womb clearings and celebrations online. Like, definitely want to know more about that. And thank you for just sharing your heart with us. That was such a beautiful conversation. And I think everybody that is listening today is really going to follow you and also look into some ways to really support and nourish and love on our womb. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And yes, as you say, I love your energy as well, both of you. Katie, I worked with you before as well, but Stasha is something new, but I love your duo. And thank you so much for having me here. You're doing amazing work. And so keep going for sure. So
awesome. Yeah, we'll share in the notes too. So the show notes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody for joining us. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors for today's episode, Period Coaching School and Katie Bresek Wellness.
Thanks to you, our favorite bestie, for listening to the Period Besties Podcast, where no topic is TMI. And of course, share this episode with your besties.
Remember to leave us a 5-star review, nothing less than the best for us besties, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Stasha Washburn and at Katie Bresek, or email us at periodbestiespodcast@gmail.com.
Check out more about us at katiebresek.com and periodcoachingschool.com. And of course, check the show notes for free goodies and extras that support this episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye for now, besties.